What's up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. Thanks for listening on iTunes, Omni Studio, Spotify, and just wherever you're listening. And if you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. We love you. Thanks for listening. Tell other people about the pod, and we get it in here. This week we're going to talk about uh, Graham Potter showing up at a Crystal Palace game. What's that all about? You know what I'm saying? You know, we're going to talk about Arsenal's lucky 5-0 win over Crystal Palace. We're going to talk about Liverpool beating the heck out of Bornmouth in the second half of that game. We're going to talk about the West Ham versus Sheffield United. It was a good game, then it was a boring game, and then it was super exciting the last 5 minutes of the game in that order. And we're going to talk about Omar Berrada coming to United, poached from Man City, so to speak. And what's he do? What does a Omar Berrada do? Why is everybody excited? You know what I mean? So we're going to find that out. And I was watching a Dortmund game, and the Dortmund and the Cologne fans threw some coins on the field. So we're going to see what that's about. And we got the usual co-host, Lee Hudson, stand-up comic from England, Southampton fans, if you couldn't tell by the jerseys in the background. What up, fam? How you?
I'm all good. I'm all good. We're on a 21 game wins or non-losing streak. Sorry, not win streak. 21 game non-losing streak. Yeah, I'm happy about football, which is still a weird feeling to me. I'm not used to this. Football for me, supporting Southampton has mainly been lows with sort of the occasional highs. I'm not used to feeling this high for this long. I'm waiting for it all to come crashing down.
If you keep wait for it to come crashing down, it will. Just ride high, bro. Enjoy the high. You've had the lows. Take it. Like, so you guys are 21 games undefeated. Like, your non-losing streak is a grown-ass man. You know what I'm saying? It's 21 years old.
Yeah, it can drink in the US now.
Yeah, it can buy guns. It can join the army. if your non-losing streak gets caught selling drugs, it'll get maximum time in prison. There's no child sentencing laws that could save that non-losing streak. It's an adult. You got an adult non-losing streak. That's pretty impressive for any team in any league. I'll take it.
Yeah, it broke the record for the longest in our history. Which the original one was set like 130 something years ago or something.
Damn, jeez. I wasn't even born
like that. Yeah, so it's 100 and something, because we were founded in 1885 and we joined the Football League in 1920. And I think it was the next year after that, I think at 21 or something, we got that streak. So it's 100. The streak had been over 100 years old, and we've broken it.
Congrats, Southampton. My thermos is Southampton colors. Your jerseys are. So, we celebrate.
It's like our manager said after the game. He got asked about it, and he just went, "It's it's a nice achievement, but it means nothing if we don't achieve our goals this year." He goes, "It would just be a nice thing to have had, and it doesn't really mean that much if we don't make it count at the end of the season." So, I'm with him on that.
Yeah.
I don't want to look back and this be the only thing we achieve this season.
Yeah, you're on your way to making it count. Now, who did y'all beat? Might as well just get into who did y'all take advantage of down there in the basement of football?
We beat Swansea, who we beat them 5-0 the day after Christmas, which I went to in the home game. So the away games came around real quick. The first half we were really good for like 40 minutes, and we fell apart a little bit at the end of the half and conceded. But then we went straight back down the other end and made it 3-1. It was 3-1 by half time. And we looked really good. We got a bit lucky with one goal because it was offside, but there's no VAR in the Championship. So we benefited from that a little bit. But second half, they put up a good fight, Swansea. They caused us some problems. They forced the keeper into some good saves. So, they made us earn it. But it's another game. another game in the bank, another 3 points. We're second now because Ipswich don't play until tomorrow. So we've got that second spot, which is nice. Puts a bit more pressure on Ipswich. Ipswich are playing tomorrow, and I'm doing a show in Ipswich tomorrow. So
Oh,
if
get
they're
out
at
of here.
home, maybe I can go and like poison their water bottles or something.
just be bad luck. Don't Bill Cosby nobody. Just be bad luck for the team, bro.
Oh no,
That
they're
should
away.
be
They're
good
away
enough.
to. They're playing away, but it's against
Okay.
Leicester. They're playing Leicester, who are top of the league. So
So something's
that
got
could
to
be good
give.
for us. Yeah,
Yeah, something's got to give. How many
yeah.
points
Either
ahead
we.
of them are you now?
Oh, we are level with Ipswich. We're just ahead of them on goal difference. Um, so yeah, we kind of need them to not win against Leicester. But I mean, if they beat Leicester, we're only 7 points behind Leicester then. So it reels Leicester in a little bit. So whatever happens, there's a benefit for us in this game.
So if you're a fan in this position, what do you want? The chance to catch them both or the chance to pass the team that'll get you into second place, which is the automatic qualifying position? Like, what do you the chance in the future or the bird in the hand?
See, the dreamer in me wants Ipswich to win because I think we can catch Leicester in the current form. But the pragmatist says Leicester to win, keep us second. We then get the confidence of being in second. Ipswich don't get the confidence of beating the team top of the league, which gives them more confidence to get back into second place. So, yeah. So, I mean, a draw wouldn't be the worst result for us in the world. But yeah, we've got a real tough sort of couple of weeks coming up. So I'm trying not to get too ahead of myself with this because yeah, we could end up dropping some points over the next 2-3 weeks. We've got some really hard games, got a lot of away games as well. So yeah, it's not going to stay this good for forever.
Why not? What do you mean? It's the good times now. Let the good times roll. Yeah, that's
hopefully.
a tough thing to want. The draw, the Leicester win, or the Ipswich win. I would go for the Leicester win. I'd like to stay ahead of Ipswich and just keep it going from there. And also, like you said, like I don't want them the confidence of beating Leicester and walking around with their chests out, feeling like, oh, we could beat anybody from this part of the table down. So yeah, I'd go for the Leicester win. So that's great. Congrats, y'all. The guys are doing dope. Man United. We also have an unbeaten streak going 2 weeks in a row. We didn't play this week. We played last week. We didn't lose. We didn't win. We tied with Spurs. So I know what it feels like. We got two weeks in a row of not losing. So just Congrats. An infant. Thank you, bro. Thank you. I guess I'm trying to figure out what, since I have this out, everybody's talking about it. Manchester United named Omar Berrada as CEO. And we got him from City. And, the thing is, I'm not as excited as a lot of people are. People are excited because we got him from City and City's successful. And this is an Ineos move. They came in and they're going to run football operations. And this guy used to run, he was the head of all the teams in the Man City group. But it doesn't, to me, this position translate to like the field. So while executively this looks great to me, it doesn't mean it, like we still don't have a director of football, which if we got like one of the top directors of football that was on this guy's level, then I'd really be excited. I think a lot of people are just excited because it came out of nowhere, because we took him from City. But, I think all this guy really does is help Jim Ratcliffe run. Is it Nice? Is that Nice, the other team that he has?
Yeah, he has Nice. Yeah.
So this guy used to run all the teams under the umbrella for Citigroup. Radcliffe comes to United already owning Nice, so it just helps him run Nice and United. This is not just a United appointment. He's going to be over both the teams and maybe cycling or whatever this group owns. So it's like United fans, yeah, you could be a little excited, but be aware of like what this whole I don't know what this position really does. Like I've read it, but how does it help Man United? What do you think about Berrada?
I think it's a good move. Like you say, it won't be the magic wand, but I think it's a good building block in the place. Because like you say, you still need a director of football. That I think will come, and I think a good director of football working with this guy will help you. Because he worked for Barca before he worked for City.
Mm-hmm.
Then he's been at the City Group for like a while now, and he was apparently a big part of the Haaland transfer. Um, and he's got experience with sort of media rights and marketing and stuff like that as well. But he does seem to be a football guy soon, so like football guy too as well. So um, yeah, it's an interesting appointment. I think it's an upgrade on what you've had before. Because it was Richard
Definitely.
Arnold that he replaced. So
Yeah.
and you've not had much luck in that position in the past. So I think he'll be good for you. But yeah, the director of football is a bigger appointment in the long run um, than this one. But like I say, I think it's all building blocks. You need all these parts in place. It sounds like he's very business savvy in terms of the business of football. So that plus with some real high quality talent identification and structure, which hopefully a director of football would bring as well, then I think that would help you move in the right direction.
Well, so let me just read this to you. And this is one of the things I have to find at first that Ineos made this major statement at the beginning of the week. It is our stated ambition to reestablish Man United as a title winning club, right? And they said stuff last week about like placing emphasis on the field, on the pitch, and improving things there. But they go and hire someone who's good at commercial stuff. He was in commercial stuff at Barcelona, and he's been in commercial stuff with Man City. So everybody's excited again. Well, this is like a misdirect hire. This guy doesn't have anything to do with like on the pitch. He might be able to get us a good director of football, but until he does that, like it's got nothing to do with that major statement that everybody was excited that Ineos made this week, you know? So let's see. We'll see. I'm not, you know, naysaying or being doom or gloom. I just like, so what right now? That's where I'm at. I'm trying to think of the other things we need to cover. So Ivan Toney, and we all watched all 4 games this weekend. First of all, how do you like there only being 4 to 5 games on a Premier League weekend? What's the feeling?
I think there's pros and cons to it. I definitely prefer a full fixture list. But it means you can give them a little bit more attention. It's a little bit easier to follow everything that's going on. But I do like having all teams play at some point between the Friday and the Monday, just because it chops the fantasy football league into two weeks, which I'm trying to see who I'm going to get ahead of. I like to know. I like to know after that one weekend.
Priorities.
But no, I think it's just better when all the teams are playing. But it's nice now and again. I wouldn't be against it happening once or twice a season, but I like the full list. I think it's just good for teams as well. I mean, I think it'd be unworkable to do it over a full season because they won't be able to fit it in. But yeah, now and again, it'd be a nice little change.
All right. I like that they do it now, that they figured out a way to do it, but you could still have football, so we're not starved. So it's cool. I mean, it's funny. I'm like so used to getting up at 4:30 and just watching game after game. until they go off. Now there's this 3 hour break in the middle. I can go back to sleep. I wake up and then watch the next game, and then boom, there's no more games. I'm like, well, this is weird, but it's fine. It was weird to also see Premier League games being played this weekend and Manchester United not taking part in it. So that's weird. But I say after the glut of games over the holiday, like everybody's eyes need a break from just being glued to the screen watching games. So it comes at the perfect time. Like we all need to like lose some football weight after the holidays, and this is a perfect way to do it. So one of the big games this weekend, let me find it so I can say it right. And this was one of the games that you mentioned was going to be one of the games of the weekend. Well, you said this like maybe last week. Brentford versus Nottingham Forest. Brentford 3, Nottingham Forest 2. Ivan Toney returns, and one of the first things, Ivan Toney hasn't played football in a while. He broke the law, and they punished him by taking him away from football for 8 months. But the punishment didn't work, because the first thing he did was cheat. So, so what do you think of Ivan Toney moving the ball and moving the foam during the free kick?
I mean, it was sneaky, but I think that, I mean, it's a hard one because it's a kind of a grey area, because he moved it a bit, but also he didn't move it just before he kicked it. Like they had enough time to, like, players need to be on the other team need to be vigilant, and they need to be adjusting to that shit. Like I think there was one player trying to tell the goalkeeper,
One on
but
the one on the left, away from
yeah,
the wall.
yeah, I think someone was trying to tell the keeper, and yeah, just you got to adapt to that and be a little bit sharper. Credit to him, it's clever. It's up to people to catch that. I don't blame him for trying it. It's just clever. It's I'm surprised they didn't like take a look at it or anything afterwards properly, because it was sneaky. It's definitely some. If it's not cheating, it's definitely gamesmanship. But it's yeah. I mean, and then he still got to execute it as well. It still wasn't an easy finish. I think it just showed how hungry he was for a goal on the comeback.
I feel like it just showed how much he hasn't learned during this time of punishment. Like I used to cheat behind everybody's back and I got caught. Now I'm going to cheat on camera in public in front of everybody and show you that crime pays. I figured Ivan Toney would come back with a vengeance, but not this way. I saw him moving the ball. I saw what he did after. Like I watched the game, but I didn't notice it until like men in blazers like showed actually everything that happened. And so I saw him moving the ball. I was like, but why didn't the ref turn around and see that he moved the ball? Because the foam is on the right and the ball's on the left. And then I see him move the foam. And then before he takes a free kick, the ref is standing right behind the ball and Ivan Toney. And that ref must have been looking at that wall going, man, that's a shitty wall. This guy's going to score, not knowing that Ivan Toney moved the ball and the foam. But yeah, the refs have to pay attention to it. And that one player, but you know what, now that I think of it, he might have been a Brentford player, because there was one player that was to the left of the wall. It might have been a Brentford player. I have to look at this thing again. I put it in the group. Let me see. But yeah, if you're on the team, you just have to watch everybody. This is like Gestapo football. You see something, say something, because people are out here cheating. They wilding. Let me see if I see this thing once again. So Ivan Toney moves.
I've just put it on again.
Yeah, let me just see this. I see him move it. Yeah, that was a Forest player on the left side away from the wall. I don't know why he didn't say something. And another thing about this game is if these two teams play again, they can't wear these jerseys. These jerseys are too close to each other. It's
Yeah.
confusing. Like there's too many stripes out here. Like somebody pick zebra and somebody pick a solid, and none of this too many. We wear the same stripes. Who's going to wear stripes? And we're both going to wear it. Yeah, that player on the left, I can't see his name, but he should have definitely said something. Faint in front of the ball or something. So Ivan Toney gets away with it, and Brentford end up winning the match 3-2. Mopai scored. I'm trying to think of anything crazy else happened in that match. I can't remember, but it's a good win after Ivan Toney coming back and scoring. The other games this weekend, did you see? What did you think of Sheffield United versus West Ham?
I mean, you summed up right earlier when you said about the, the fact that it was boring, it was entertaining, then it was boring, then it was entertaining and crazy again. Um, yeah, there was some interesting stuff going on there. I mean, debut goal for we spoke about him last week, Ben Brereton Diaz, the British Chilean guy who joined on
So that's
loan.
him. Why does he have like the jawline of a comic book hero? you, when you were young and you draw like your version of a superhero, like his jawline is like superhero drawn big.
I think it's I think the beard's doing a lot of the work there for him. But yeah, I mean, it was a good goal from him as well because he had to show a bit of desire to get to the ball first and then to put it in as well. So yeah, that was interesting after West Ham had already taken the lead, and then yeah, like you say, it got dull for a little bit. And then my boy Ward Prowse stepped up and scored a penalty. And then yeah, it all went crazy with the red cards. I mean, the Sheffield United red card was 100% a red card. He sort of jumped into that tackle with 2 feet. Absolutely a
Rooster?
red card.
Rooster?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Brewster's one definitely a red, and then the West Ham one as well. With Sufal was definitely a
Sufa.
red because he was just stupid. Like he'd already just got a yellow, and then he went straight in and made a late tackle, like a late challenge to trip someone, and aggressively trip them as well. Like it wasn't just a slight thing or an accidental thing. So yeah, he deserved his red as well. And then the penalty was justified. The keeper came and just you got to get the ball there. If you're going to wipe a man out, you need to get the ball.
So he didn't get the ball. The guy kind of hit him too with his arm too. I felt like that could have went either way, but I think it is more exciting to see West Ham drop points. They're like a little bit ahead of us. But
Yeah.
I was like, this could be a wash. This could be nobody's.
Yeah.
Like call.
I think there was more momentum on the keeper's side though. And he didn't get anywhere near the ball. So yeah, I'd have given it. And then there was the big decision at the end where Jared Bowen thought he should have had a penalty. With a guy who wasn't even looking at the ball. That was a rugby tackle.
Penalty.
It was a rugby tackle. So yeah, another one a little bit, for them to feel hard done by. But yeah, entertaining game for a Sunday. It's a lot going on.
Yeah, that extra time slapped. It was action packed for a game that's lost its momentum. Like 2 red cards and 2 potential penalties. One went in. Both teams went down to 10 men apiece, and ends up being 2-2. And I still feel like this doesn't matter. Sheffield United. I don't think you're going to get out of this. And I feel like I'm not really feeling Chris Wilder and his intensity and what he claims to bring to this team. I just don't think it's going to work. It's just, they're just probably not good enough. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I think the only reason he got the job was because he managed them in the past and he got them promoted to the Premier League and did a good job in the Premier League for a season. because his previous jobs had been failures in the Championship.
Yeah.
Failed at Middlesbrough, failed at Watford. So it was a weird appointment. And like I said, I think they definitely only gave it to him because of his history there. But I mean, he's improved them. He's definitely doing better than the last guy did. But that wasn't too hard because they were the worst team in the league under him.
Yeah, Higginbottom. It was. It's just some terrible results. Oh man.
Yeah.
Some horrendous results. Arsenal versus Crystal Palace. I mean, Arsenal gets. I felt that you got to look out for Crystal Palace. Coach's back is against the wall. The players have been, rallying around him a little bit. They fuck with Roy Hudson, but man, Arsenal do what they do, man. They always start out good. Gabriel got the first goal in 11 minutes. Great corner, just just in there. Oh, they finally gave that second goal as an own goal in Google to Henderson, which is messed up. That's Gabriel's goal. That's messed up that they took up. Gabriel should have 2 goals. Trossard and then Martinelli, 2 in extra time. One in the 94th minute, one in the 95th minute. So yeah, man, fun game throughout. But yeah, Crystal Palace, man, that's a tough loss. So let me ask you a question. Is Graham Powder was at the game? Is he just there trying to get his kids into being Crystal Palace fans, or is he just hanging out at the game, or is he there because the owners want him to look at the team and consider this to be the next team that he's going to coach? Like, if you're a coach like Graham Potter, if you go to the game of a coach that's in the hot seat, that everybody's going to be looking at you in the stands going, oh, this is who they're going to replace him back. And that's pretty. So why would you go if you're just hanging out? I know there ain't that many games that weekend, but I don't know if Graham Potter still lives in London because he coached Chelsea, but why do you think he was there?
Yeah, it's always a weird one in those circumstances. And I think sometimes it's just to remind people that person's still around as well. Because not even just for the Palace job, but he's just saying it, but it will, because he's gone to watch a game, like you say, where a manager is under pressure, it then makes because if he goes and watches Man City versus Liverpool, no one cares that he's there. The TV cameras probably don't even pick it up. Because he goes to that game where one of the managers is under pressure, the cameras pick it up and his name is back in people's minds for a second. So even if it's not for the Palace job, I think it means that everyone's like, oh yeah, he's still around and he's still available. Maybe for some other jobs, but I think
you're
Palace
goddamn genius, Lee. Goddamn genius.
Palace would be the right sort of level job for him, I think. Because I mean, I think it'd be a weird one because he did so well at Brighton, and those 2 clubs hate each other. So it'd be a little bit weird move there. But I think he needs to drop back down to that tier of clubs to rebuild his image a bit, because I don't think another club of Chelsea stature will hire him at the moment, just because of his stock obviously fell quite dramatically after the Chelsea thing. So and also I don't think any of those jobs are going to become available. Maybe West Ham if they end up bowing to the pressure and getting rid of Moyes, because they got knocked out the FA Cup by a Championship team in the week, and then they drew this weekend. And if they go on like a little streak, their fans get pretty restless because they're ungrateful.
I know that's what I forgot to talk about in the West Ham game. He's 6th, and fans, I can hear from here, fans over there, West Ham fans wanting their coach fired, and he's 6th. He's ahead of Man United. He's behind Tottenham, Arsenal, Aston Villa, Man City. Yeah, he didn't do good in some League Cups, but he just won you something, and he's 6th. Like, Like
Yeah.
how much do they? And he assembled a team of really good second class Avengers to play for the team. Like, how much do you hate Moises to be like, get him out? Like, what type? Why do they hate him?
I don't know. I think it's just like they don't like the style of football. It's yeah. I don't know. They just, like I say, they're just a fan base that turns pretty quickly. But it's. I think that so West Ham would be, in my opinion, the highest sort of level of job he could get if it became available. Like I don't think another sort of club that's bigger than that would be up for hiring him right now. I think he needs to but he could get back to that level. Um, but yeah, I think Palace wouldn't be the worst place for him. Um, they've
He'd
got a
be
track
good. He'd
record
be
of
good at West Ham.
West Ham, yeah. I think and
Yeah.
Palace. I think that sort of club. I think he would potentially unlock more because Eze and people like that hadn't been doing that much under Vieira. Vieira wasn't playing him. Then Hodgson came back in and was playing him, and there was an initial upturn. Then he's sort of gone quiet a little bit again
Mm-hmm.
at times. But I think someone like Potter could really revitalize him, and I think he'd be good for a lot of players there. So yeah, it wouldn't be the worst job for him in the world. But Palace, yeah, it's a bit of a slide. Their form's been patchy to say the least. Let me just have a quick look at the table to see how far away they are now from the bottom.
I think they're
They've still
like
got a little,
15th.
yeah, they still got a little bit of a buffer because Luton are on 16 points and Palace are on 21. So um, they got a 5 point buffer, which that can get eaten up in a couple of weeks if they're not careful. But
Right.
they're still above Forest. They're still above Everton. Um, and then Luton, Burnley, and Sheffield United, I still think will be the three that go down. Like they keep showing some of them like little flashes of life, like especially Luton. Um, but then it will just disappear again. So it's yeah, I would still put money on the bottom three being the bottom three come the end of the season, all the promoted teams. Um, but yeah, it's easy for a team to get sucked in if they get stagnant.
Yeah. I mean, I don't believe in those teams' little splashes. Like nobody just sits and sinks quicksand and just sinks to the bottom. They always flap their arms a little bit, and that's all they doing, man. They're just
Mm.
flapping their arms, but you in quicksand and you going down to the bottom. There's nothing you could do about it. I'm trying to see if there's any. What do you think of Liverpool's display against Bournemouth? Like that's one of the 4 games that was on this
hmm
weekend, and Liverpool, Mo Salah's not there. Endo's not there. They have injuries. They have to like shuffle around like who's gonna start. But Liverpool, I feel like they've done such a good job of us reassembling and rebuilding in just really 1 year. Because it was last season, in the middle of the season, that they realized, oh shit, we need to rebuild. And then they just spent a ton of money this summer and a little bit last summer. And because they got Darwin Nunez, and I want to defend him a little bit. And I'm not defending him because he scored 2 goals today. Like I want the people, the Liverpool fans who have been upset with this guy because they showed his stats before the game, and it was like I guess they played like 19 games. He was like 6 goals, 8 assists, or 5 goals, 6 assists. And I'm like, that's not bad for somebody that doesn't start every game. You know what I mean? Sometimes he comes in 20 minutes left in the game. And when he misses, it's some of the classiest misses. It's not like he misses, he hits the post. It's not like Timo Werner in front of the goal. It's not like Havertz. Like, you know what I mean? Like, these are professional misses that just need to go a few centimeters to the left or right, and there would be world class goals. And today, the centimeters was in his favor, and he was hitting the back of the net. And it's like, this guy is going to be good. I feel like the only reason why the Liverpool fans are upset with him is because he came in at the same time as Haaland, and then they wanted him to be Haaland. But this guy, you get to watch him grow on your team and become your Haaland. And I think there's probably more value in a player like that, like having them grow and turn into your next Ian Rush. But Darwin Nunez is gonna be the truth, man. And if I'm wrong, then I just got this one wrong. Also, I saw this female, she's an ex-player. She was on Vive at 5, and they were talking about Gakpo and how she doesn't believe in Gakpo. I forgot her name, but they were praising her and saying that she's usually on point, and anybody can be wrong. But ever since she said that, like a month ago, Gakpo's been on fire. I feel like Gakpo was on fire before that. I believe in Gakpo. I wanted Gakpo for United. He was considerably cheaper than Anthony, and got more points and more assists in the same season in the Dutch league than Anthony did. And look what Gakpo's doing over there. So yeah, man, with like playing the players that they could play, they had a young right back in Trent Alexander's place today, and I think he had an assist. And Jota went off. Like Jota might not always be available. When he's available and he can be on the field, the team he's playing against is in trouble. This guy can put the ball in the back of the net. What did you think of Liverpool's performance against Bournemouth? And Bournemouth, I'm only going to say this because it's funny. Bournemouth going into the dressing room at halftime and not coming back out.
Yeah, I mean they were a different team in the two halves. I think they really worked Liverpool that first half, and you could see Liverpool sort of grow into the game slowly, and then by the end of that first half, they were dominating. And then just obviously went into overdrive in the second half. I think Bournemouth were a little lucky in the first half because that Justin Kluivert tackle I think could have been a red. It was a little bit. It was a little bit naughty, that one. But yeah, once Liverpool hit their stride, they were just really fun to watch. I mean, that first goal, especially the sort of one touch interplay around the box, and then the calm finish from Nunez. The way he just opened up and rolled it into that far corner, really nice. Like you say, Jota's finishes were class. And then Nunez back on the score sheet again to round it all off. So yeah, just clinical from Liverpool. And Connor Bradley is the young right back who came in.
Right.
So he did a good job, and Joe Gomez stepped in, did a good job as well. Having Van Dijk back helped them a little bit, I think, as well. McAllister was back in the team because he'd had a little spell out. So yeah, all the players they're missing: Robertson, Alexander-Arnold, Endo, Szoboszlai, Salah.
Who? They didn't need him.
Yeah, and Salah's picked up an injury at AFCON as well. With Egypt, so he's coming back to Liverpool for treatment. But if he's fit, if Egypt reach the final or the semi-final and he's fit by then, he'll go back. So Liverpool aren't getting him back any earlier than Egypt finish in the tournament. So it doesn't really change anything on that side for them.
That's smart of Egypt. They learned from the mistake that France made in the World Cup with Benzema. Like Benzema got injured, and then he's gone from the team. He goes back to Spain, gets healthy. They get to the final where they could use a Benzema, and they're like, "Nah, we're not bringing you back." And it's like, I'm sure if Benzema would come back for that final, like France would have been world champions twice, and Messi wouldn't have been won the World Cup. And what's this stuff that Ronaldo was saying? What did he say about is it about the Ballon d'Or award or the FIFA award or both? What did he say? I've been seeing him say stuff like he's like dissing these awards now that he used to win, now that Messi's been winning them. Is that what he's doing?
I'm not sure. I've not seen much on that. I saw a quote him saying that he's like the greatest goal scorer or something.
Because he scored more than everybody in the last football calendar season, right? But you scored those in Saudi Arabia. And then he tried to big up the Saudi Arabian league, which he's getting paid to promote on top of being paid to play in. And he said it's better than the French league. So he's the only person that believes that. I don't even think the Saudis believe that.
Yeah. Whatever he has to say to justify it to himself being there. That's what that is. That's him trying to convince himself by saying that. Because it's not been a good January PR wise for the Saudi league. Like Jordan Henderson quit to go to Ajax. Apparently he wasn't happy there. He also hasn't received any wages while he's been out there because he deferred them to try and avoid tax in the UK. But now he's not going to get anything. So I'm kind of glad that went shit for him. And also Aymeric Laporte, the ex-Man City centre-back, he is out there now. He's on Ronaldo's team, and he came out and just sort of said that it's not good there. Said that it's not like a great place to live. And he just wasn't very complimentary about it. Just sort of saying like, you know, compared to sort of the top European leagues, it's not the same experience. He tried to throw a couple of little compliments in there, but he was pretty much just saying like, we came here for money and it's not good. So I think it'd be interesting to see how the Saudi league moves forward, whether or not this is just like an initial flurry that we saw last summer, because everyone was like, oh, this is this is going to change the face of football kind of thing. And I don't know if it was just they threw some money around, they got some big names from Europe to go there, but they haven't put anything in place to make the experience enjoyable for the players and the players to live in. So yeah, it could be that they just sort of threw all the money at the front end and they've not considered any of the other aspects of those players playing lives while they're in their country. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out, whether or not it will mean less players look to move there, because I don't think I've really seen any big names linked with going out there in the January window at all. Right. So it might be who knows, a short-term bubble where they tried to run before they could walk, and rather than build it up from the ground up, they've tried to build it from the top down, and that's never usually a good way to build something.
Yeah, that's like they on some, what was that league that was in America before the MLS, and they had Beckenbauer and Pele, and like those things never last. It was great for a few years in the 70s, and people remember the Cosmos and how loaded that team was, but ultimately everything failed. So you got to crawl before you can walk. You got to build a thing. And I know you got a lot of money, but that's the great equalizing factor, like really watering something and growing it and organically and making it become a product before you try to sell it. But at the same time, even though it's failing for some players, like I can access it now and watch those games if I want, and that wasn't possible before. So it helped, but they still have to do a lot more. You have to do both. You got to spend money, and you got to keep growing this thing organically and let time do its thing. You can't like jump ahead of time.
Yeah, it was the NASL, I believe. The North American Soccer League was the old school one.
Yeah, it was huge. All right. So I told you I was going to ask you this, and you gave me the answer before, but that was off camera. So I'm watching Dortmund play because, Sancho's there now, and they had an assist last week. So I want to see what he's going to do this week to see if like he got his gift back. And he did like win a penalty in this game. And I've only watched the first half so far, but after Dortmund scored, all the fans in the stadium threw these fake gold coins onto the pitch and stopped the game. And even the players and the people who worked in the stadium had to clean up these coins for like 8 minutes. So there was this break, and they weren't throwing them to hit the players. They was just, I don't know if it was a tradition or what it was, but could you explain this?
So yeah, it was a protest from both sets of fans. Happened in the 12th minute because the fans see themselves as the 12th man. That was the symbolism behind that. But they're just not happy that the Bundesliga, the German FA, who run the Bundesliga, they're selling some of the TV rights for some sort of investment opportunity. And I think it's only going to financially benefit the German FA rather than the clubs,
right.
from the sounds of it. And that is why they're throwing the money, because they're accusing them of being money grabbers. And I think they just see it as allowing too much outside interest into something, people that might not have the best interests of the league at heart. And German fans are really, really protective of this. I mean, there were massive protests. They've never really liked the fact that Red Bull came into the league with the Leipzig team. There was a lot of protest against that. And, they all have the ownership model where no one can own more than 49% of the club. So no one has the sort of the total power. And German fans, they're very, very particular about that. And, it's sort of, some people might look at it as being a good commercial opportunity and a way to try and compete with the Premier League on that level. And but I think a lot of German fans, they're quite idealistic and they don't want that to happen. They don't really care. As long as they enjoy the product themselves, they don't care if it's competing with the Premier League or not. A lot of them, I think, are already pretty unhappy that Bayern have the level of power that they do, sort of monopolizing that league, although they lost this weekend. And Leverkusen is still on. Leverkusen, I think, are the only undefeated team in the top leagues.
Xavi Alonso.
Yeah, they're doing great. It's that's what it was all about. And it's just German fans being sort of very active and taking a stand at something that they see as against the best interests of the league.
Well, good for them. It's just too bad they can't stop the league from being a one-team league. But Xavi Alonso is doing his thing right now, like you just mentioned, to shut down this Bayern thing. So I hope he makes it till the end of the season. And then I wish Jude Bellingham was available for Dortmund's last game at the end of the season, and where he didn't play and they lost, and Bayern won the league. Because then I wouldn't feel bad about Bayern winning the league this season. You know what I mean? Because for some reason, I don't want Harry Kane to go all the way to Germany and Bayern to lose the league. It was just such a... it'd be hilarious. So harsh. It'll be hilarious. You know what? I should just go with the funny more. You know what? It'll be funny. And and it's like the year Bayern finally loses the league is when Harry Kane is there. Harry Kane, he turned Bayern Spursy. You know what? I'm gonna go with the joke of it. I can't be like.
Not that I want them to, but it'd be hilarious if Tottenham managed to win something. An FA Cup or something. Yeah, and then he goes to a one club league and loses. Because right now, Leverkusen are 7 points ahead.
Damn.
Bayern have one game in hand, but 7 points in the Bundesliga is a decent lead. And Bayern apparently think they're going to solve that by signing Kieran Trippier.
Well, so there's a theme to these signings. So they got Dyer there.
Yeah.
And then Trippier used to play with Kane at Spurs. So I think Kane is lonely. It's like, could you go get some of my boys, some people I hang out with? Like, I don't care if they play. I don't care. Like, all of a sudden, how is Dyer, who couldn't get a game at Spurs, who hasn't won anything, how is he valuable enough to get game at Bayern? So the only thing that got him to Bayern is Kane. You know what I mean? And Trippier.
Dyer was on. So I was going to say Dyer was on the bench this weekend. Didn't come on.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to. And they lost with him on the bench. So the more Spurs players you bring there, the worse you do. So be careful, Bayern. You know what? Get more Spurs players. Make it more than a one-team league. Go ahead, man. Get them all. Get Trippier too. I like Trippier. Trippier is one outside of Spurs.
It's like they're trying to assemble like an old Spurs team though. Like this is like 2016 Spurs with like
Yeah.
Dyer and Trippier and stuff. So yeah, wondering who they're gonna go for next. Is gonna try and get Paulinho or something or
It's hilarious. Like if Bayern doesn't win the league, because there's that tally, which is more than 50 players who have left Spurs and won titles. And wouldn't it be ironic for the best player to leave Spurs and not win a title when all these lesser known ex Spurs players went other places and won titles? You know what I mean? So Harry Kane, of all the ones that you would expected, most definitely win a title. Nothing. That'd be bananas. You want to do the fantasy league, since that the whole week did finally get done?
We can have a look at it. Although the whole week isn't fully done because there's one more
because
game.
tomorrow Wolves and
Wolves and Brighton. But we can have a look at it.
yeah.
Let me just go into it now. Because it's close last time I looked between me and Martin. Because me and Martin were level on points last week. And right now, Martin is 3 points ahead of me. But I don't know for how long because Martin's only 3 points ahead of me, but I've got some points to come off my bench in this, and I've got one player playing for Brighton. We've both got a player playing for Brighton, different players though. So he might finish the week ahead of me. I got a bunch of points from. I made Ivan Toney my captain.
Smart.
Because I thought he was gonna come back and do something.
Yeah, cheat.
Yeah, he told me beforehand he was going to do that. He told me to put a bet on it.
He told you to bet. Hilarious.
But yeah, top of the league right now. I don't think he'll be caught even in that one game. Is Ahmed Zekri? He's back on top still.
Ahmed
Ahmed Zekri is doing it. Joey Duda is still second.
Joey
And Joachim
Duda.
Henriksen in third. I think that's the same order from last week still, from the last time we looked. So, yeah, it's all as you were. But like I say, the real battle is me and Martin, 16th and 17th in the league. Only 3 points separating us. So we'll see how the rest of this game week goes. Martin played his wild card though. Martin, I've still got mine for the second, because you get 2 a season, one before and after Christmas. And I've still got mine. So Martin's he's shot his load early, just like Spurs do every season. So hopefully I can catch him and overtake him with that in the bank.
Right. I'm betting on you, so can't count on Neil. And then this week is weird football wise, just because there's Carabao Cup games and midweek, right? And then there's some FA Cup games on a weekend or midweek.
Weekend, yeah.
But there's also Premier League games coming up next weekend, right?
Yep.
So it's kind of weird because I think United play on the 28th. Let me see. No, we play a FA Cup game on the 28th. So we.
Yeah, there's a load going on.
Yeah, it's kind of jumbled up and confusing. So because normally you like to talk about
the Premier League. The Premier League doesn't start again until Tuesday after the Brighton game, obviously tomorrow. The Premier League doesn't start again until Tuesday the 30th, and there's 5 games that day, and then there's 3 on the Wednesday and 2 on the Thursday, because the weekend is all FA Cup.
So the weekend is all FA Cup. All right. So let me see. So we have a game against Newport because they beat Eastleigh,
yeah,
the team that you wanted to win. So United, don't mess this up. It's an easy win. I'm going to say that, even though I know better. I shouldn't say that. There's upsets in the FA Cup, and United has been mad ragtag. We've not been balling like we should. But let's show that new CEO Barreto, that y'all belong on the team. Maybe we need something like that. We need like somebody would like the respect like that for our players to be like, all right, let's get it together. Let's impress this guy.
I don't think
So,
he's arriving until the summer.
oh, for real?
Yeah.
But people still know his eyes gonna be on them. Like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
like yeah, it's like he's gonna hire the person that's gonna get rid of you if you don't start delivering. You know. So yeah, let me just try to pull up a FA Cup window and see if there's anything we should talk about, and then we can get out of here. FA Cup schedule. And you guys are still in the FA Cup, right?
Yeah, we play Watford. It's an all championship fixture. That's next Sunday, I think.
Tottenham play Man City on Friday. That's huge.
Yeah, I think that might be the biggest game of the round, to be honest. I mean, Chelsea Villa should be interesting.
Yeah,
The
Chelsea Villa.
lowest, the lowest
Villa
team.
can beat Chelsea.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
The lowest team left in is Maidstone United, who they're down in the National League South. They're playing Ipswich. So, I mean, I kind of want Ipswich to win because then Ipswich stay in another competition and play more games. I kind of hope Maidstone just go there and try and injure all of their best players. I hope Maidstone just go there and kick the shit out of them physically.
Hilarious.
um,
Wrexham is
yeah,
still in the game. But go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, they're playing Blackburn, which is potentially winnable. Blackburn aren't in good form right now, so who knows? But yeah, we're us against Watford. I really don't care if we win because I don't want the extra games. So I think we'll rotate our team a bit, but it means we can extend the streak. So I kind of want us to win in a way, but I kind of don't want us to win.
Keep the streak going, man. Like, believe in yourselves. You can, maybe you're not in the Premiership, but you shouldn't be in the Championship, and you can beat all these teams in the Championship and come back up. So and still handle some FA Cup shit. If you're gonna play the game, it's just depending on who your coach is gonna what your coach feels is important.
Whatever happens, I don't want to replay.
Don't want to replay. Yeah. Tottenham Man City, that's going to be some heavy shit on Friday. So, and this is tough to, I don't want Man City to win anything else on top of what they won, but I don't want Tottenham to beat Man City. You know what I mean? So that they can walk around with their chest out. So this is tough to like, who do I want to lose more? It's harder to ask. You know what? You guys have a replay. I hope you guys end up with a replay. Let's add another game to your schedule. Let's do that.
I think if Spurs go out against Man City, that's them done for the season because I don't think they're going to win the Premier League. It won't be physically impossible, like mathematically impossible for them to win, for them to not win the Premier League. But I think because they're already out the Carabao Cup and they're not in Europe, so this will be the last thing, the last cup they have a chance at. So if they go out of this, that's kind of season done for them, other than trying to finish in the Champions League spots. So, yeah.
I want them to stay in it then. I want them to have a distraction. I don't want them to just be completely focused on the Premier League. You know what I mean? I don't trust that Spurs. That Spurs might do something. They might finish top 4. With all they have to do is focus on the Premier League. So yeah. But I don't think they can beat City. But at least go to another game. Get cup tied. Get cup tied. And then I'll decide from there. Fulham is going to be up against Newcastle. That's big. Newcastle needs to win a game soon. So it might as well be this one. Yeah. Well, I guess, that's pretty much it. We talked about Premier League, the 4 Premier League games, Wolves, Brighton tomorrow. I feel like Brighton should win tomorrow because Wolves has a bunch of players out in the Asia Cup, and their leading scorer is not there. And I think they have some other players missing too. I can't remember their names right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brighton needs to handle this. But let me see where Brighton's at in the table and see if I can afford them to win tomorrow. Like, yeah. I need Brighton to lose, to be honest, because they have 31 points and we got 32. I don't need them. I don't want to end the weekend in 8th. Shit.
Wolves, I mean, even with missing players, like Gary O'Neill's got them playing this season. So yeah, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that they could do something.
Yeah. It's funny. Gary O'Neill's old team is right behind him in the standings. So he wasn't good enough to coach Bornmouth, but they're 12th. He's 11th. And he's 11th with a team. He's 11th with a team that didn't do any shopping. The only shopping they did was him. And they lost a good coach. And he's doing good. So, good luck to Gary O'Neill. As a matter of fact, beat Brighton, Gary. That's what I need you to do. That's what I need you to beat Brighton tomorrow, with or without your missing players. All right. You got any shows and stuff coming up this weekend?
Yeah, I got a busy week. I'm in Ipswich tomorrow. If this comes out before then, Monday night. But then I'm in London like solidly Tuesday through to Sunday. So I'll be posting the details of all them on my Instagram. So Lee Hudson Comedy. But yeah, literally show every night through till Sunday in London. So hitting it hard. Although I've got some other places coming up outside of that over the next few weeks in like February and places. So yeah, where am I going to be? I'm going to be in Reading. Going to be in Cardiff. Got a bunch more London stuff. I'll be in Leicester. Going to be in Birmingham in February. I'm going to be in Leeds in February. Yeah, all over the place. So yeah, it's just at the start of February I'll post my my list of shows up so people can see where I'm going to be. But yeah, other than Ipswich, London for the rest of January, and then all around the country in February.
All right, dope. And for me, just keep following me on Instagram at Ian Edwards Comic and on Twitter at Ian Edwards Comic. I post sketches, stand-up bits on there. And, the podcast on the Soccer Comic Rant Instagram. So, yeah, man, thank you all. Love you. Thanks for listening, watching, and well, good luck to your teams unless you're playing ours. 1.